Oof. Close one, though. Welcome to PHLY Flyers postgame presented by Bet365. My name is Bill Matz. I'm your director of fun and games or other things, however we're feeling. We'll figure it out over the next 60 minutes. Joining me live in the Xfinity studio, it is Philly's #1 hockey beat writer, Charlie O'Connor. I hate to say it, Charlie, but I don't know. Trevor Zegras in these shootouts. I think they might have to think about going a different direction.
For 2, we got to now
they might have
think about going with somebody else.
They
right?
He's missed 2 in the same weekend. They might have to think about going in a different direction. Maybe Dvorak should lead off every night. We'll talk about that decision in a minute. Charlie, we have a lot to get to. That went from a game of, all right, so Carolina is just kind of going to Carolina tonight. And
better.
We're going to lose 4-1, and that's the way it's going to be, to, wow, this is actually a really fun game to watch. And the Flyers tie it late, and they have chances. They almost get screwed by a terrible penalty call in overtime. The great shootout team almost wins in there. But ultimately, little bit disappointing. We'll get to it. Few things to talk to you about, though. First of all, the giveaway of Flyers Charities Carnival tickets is ongoing. All you got to do to enter, scan the QR code on your screen right now. We need your name and email, and that's it. It's that easy to enter. You can be one of 10 winners to get a ticket, a general admission ticket to the Flyers Charities Carnival, or one of our 2 grand prize winners who will receive either a Cam York sign and snap or a Travis Sanheim sign and snap at the Flyers Charities Carnival. It's a great day. We're going to have a live show there, as we always do. Come out, hang out with us. I will be in the dunk tank again. It's always fun. So make sure you enter and come and hang on, was it February 1st, I believe. Yeah, it's February 1st.
Beginning of
is
February.
The carnival.
Yeah.
So come on out for that. Yeah, that's the only thing I feel like selling at the top of this show. Because the Flyers have now lost 8 straight and 16 of 17 to the Carolina Hurricanes. Now this is their 3rd straight loss, first time all season. Consolation prize, 3 straight loser points. So it's not as if you're really taking yourself out of it the way we talked. I always remember that 10-game losing streak, the one they had and then they made the playoffs. It was like, yeah, but they went like 0-4-6.
Yeah.
So keep themselves alive. We said pregame, you look at the level of competition, the way they've played lately. All right, they haven't won as many games, but I think they've played well. Can you extend that to today's game?
Well, you certainly can't extend it to their play in the first period.
No.
And I do think that, and we'll get into this a little bit later because I do want to talk a bit about my theories as to why. But it does seem like for a lot of people, particularly online, and obviously these are the people I deal with when I'm watching a game, the first period colored their view of the entire game. The Flyers were awful in the first period.
Very bad.
They were horrendous. It was honestly like an embarrassment to hockey how poorly they played in the first period. The rest of the game, like, I don't know if they were ever good, but the Canes weren't either. This was an extremely sloppy game where, yes, the Flyers were making a lot of mistakes. They had a ton of ghastly turnovers in the second period. But if you weren't watching the game with Flyers goggles, you would have noticed just how many mistakes Carolina was making too. The Flyers were generating a lot of chances. In the first period, they were generating nothing. It was a joke. They had like 2 shots on goal, and 1 goal they scored was because a Carolina player scored the goal for them.
Yes.
It was embarrassing. The second and third periods, though, like, Flyers created a lot. And they created a lot because Carolina was making mistakes. The Flyers are making a lot of mistakes. It very much looked like a game between 2 teams that looked absolutely dog-tired. And it just, to me, felt like because the first period was so bad that fans just got it in their heads that, like, the Flyers are an embarrassment. When in reality, the rest of the game really wasn't bad. It was just, like, 2 sloppy, tired teams.
Yeah, and that's, like, if we hadn't just seen them, like, they just played last night. They all got on planes and ended up there. Like, I'd be, oh, are they tired too? Like, I'd be confused. Like, what happened after you killed us in the first period when we looked dead? But we obviously know the 2 teams played each other last night. When you did your post-game hit last night, you told us of potential travel issues for at least the Canes. Their plane had not arrived in Philly. Like, when you joined us.
I guess they got there because they played the game.
I'm trying to like, maybe it's just they're tired because they played last night. It's the same two teams. It's overtime again. Like they've been killing each other last two nights, but I wonder if there were like delays or anything that led to, especially Carolina's sloppiness, because Carolina last night after the first 25 minutes was not sloppy. They just poured it on the Flyers in terms of forecheck, and they kind of just ran out of gas today, but I guess that can just happen in any back-to-back with travel situation. I will give the Flyers this, as we have seen time and time again. I was even joking at the start of the game, like, all right, Flyers are playing bad. Can we just give up the first goal so we can kind of start the game from its natural state, which is what the Flyers tend to do a lot, and they win a lot of those games, or at least get a point. They truly do not give up. They are and now if they did, like they'd have 4 wins this year. So thank God they don't. But like this team's ability to consistently come back the way they have, like we're in the game, what, 30, 31 now. It's not just, oh yeah, no one plays defense in October, so they have some comeback wins, you know. They have genuinely done this over and over again where, yeah, even if they have a bad first period, even if they aren't the better team, they are able to get something out of the game and honestly keep it interesting, because this was an interesting game. At least the second half of it was.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I don't know. Like, I came away from this feeling like not nearly as angry. And I guess, again, I'm not a fan, so that's maybe part of it. But I think the fans who think that this game was an embarrassment are just wrong. Like I think you watched the game wrong because you came in with biases already in place that lead you to believe that it was worse than it actually was. I'm just going to straight up say it. You were wrong.
I will say there were some angering decisions and maybe individual plays. Like I'm angry about a couple of Couturier things. I'm angry about a couple of Rick Tocchet things. But I wouldn't say I'm like, turn off the TV and put on wrestling, which is exactly how I felt in the first period.
Oh, yeah, the first period was horrendous.
Like, that's not what I come away from the game feeling like. And as you put here, like all situations, expected goals numbers.
We're going to get that on a graphic. Don't worry.
Yeah,
because like, this is not me inventing stuff. Like this was a much closer game than I'm reading about. It's like the Mike Schmidt quote about like, the thrill of victory and the agony of reading about it in the paper the next day in Philadelphia. It's like the thrill of losing a close game and the agony of reading about it on social media right afterwards.
You just see it in the shot on goal number, Charlie. Like, all right, yeah, first period 14-4. They got their asses kicked in the first period.
They were terrible in the first.
They didn't get off the plane until intermission.
Clearly.
Like, that didn't have, like, that's just true. The rest of the way, 9-7 in the second. All right, they're coming back. They win 15-7 in the third. Okay, overtime 2-0. The only, they had a power play and the Flyers didn't. Like, it came down to one goalie allowed a goal in the shootout and the other didn't. I can't come away embarrassed by a game. Like, I know people want to, well, the Hurricanes, they never win in the playoffs, so they're not that good. They're a 100-point team every year. They are they're the class of the Eastern Conference and the Metropolitan Division.
I would say they are like one of the 6 or 7 best teams in the league every year. Now, yes, where they are in that range, I'm not sure. It depends on the year. But they're always in the top 6 or 7 in terms of quality.
They've had excellent years where you're like, they could actually do it. And they've had years where it's, yeah, they're the best team in the Metro and third in the East, like they've had those years too. But overall, under Rod Brind'Amour, they have been a very, very good team. It is disappointing the Flyers can't break through against them.
It is. It's
and we get it up close 2 nights in a row, opportunities in both games. But I can't say I'm like upset at the players on the team, and I don't I'm mad at them the way I am. Had the Eagles lost today,
right? Yeah,
I may have been like one of those crazy people making DM threats. No, don't do that. That's lunatic behavior. But you hear that sort of stuff, and you're like, who does this?
Yeah,
like that's the sort of anger. If this game, no, it's not that sort of anger you have about the loss. At least for me,
yeah,
because the team is. They are representing themselves well in these losses. And I know you don't want to hear about moral victories. I feel like an idiot saying it. I'm going to be honest with you. I don't want to say what I'm saying right now, but it is how I feel. So, I can't be that upset about
Well,
this.
I mean, my view is that the shootout is an actual hockey. So to me, any game like this basically ended in a tie.
They tied the Carolina Hurricanes 2 nights in a row.
Exactly. Like that's the way I view it, because I don't view the shootout as actual hockey. Like I just don't. I'm sorry.
No, I'm just thinking like the way, even I guess some wins this year too that have been like exciting and have come on, and like the view of a team's record if they were just ties instead of shootout.
It would
wins
just have a
and
lot of
losses.
ties.
There would just be so
would
many
just have an
ties.
insane amount
The
of ties.
Flyers especially would have just a ridiculous amount of ties. And I mean, they just go to overtime so regularly. It's ridiculous. But I think that speaks to this team.
Yeah, exactly.
They always play a 1-goal game. They're in every single game.
They're in every game. And we talked about it last night when I was on the broadcast for my hit, that when you talk about this team being inconsistent, like I feel like a lot of people, when they think inconsistency, they think, one game they're great, one game they're bad. They're like the Carolina Panthers in the NFL this year, where they go out and they beat the Rams, and then tonight they lose to the Saints.
Does Bryce Young belong in the league, or is he a top 10?
Or is he the best quarterback in the league? Like that's what most people think of when they think inconsistency. This team is inconsistent, but they're inconsistent period to period.
Yeah.
And it really might just boil down to the youth of the team, is that they have certain guys like Owen Tippett who are just like, they're just inconsistent. They are inconsistent on a period to period basis. And that's probably just who he's going to be. And that might increase the variability of the team on a period to period basis. But they're an inconsistent team, and that makes them frustrating, but they are resilient. Because, man, like as bad as they were in the first, I mean, we looked at each other. We thought this game was over.
Oh, I thought it was over 20 minutes, 15 minutes into the game. I was like, we're good.
Yeah, like they're going to get killed. And somehow, comes through late in the third period. They tie the game. Trevor Zegras, Travis Konecny, people spend the entire game screaming and yelling at Travis Konecny, and then he makes an incredible pass to tie the game at the end. Dude makes plays.
He really
might be
does.
Infuriating, but he makes plays.
I'll tell you, no, that is the... I think it was Torts after the ESPN game. That was the Vegas game earlier this week. Like, you live with the nonsense. Yeah, that was the crazy game that ended because he, did whatever the hell he did. Forgot he had the puck. I don't know. But I would hate to be his coach. That would be a guy you would just be like, I have to keep putting him out there because he puts points on the board, but I have no idea what he's going to do. I have no idea shift to shift. Yeah. And that play, that pass, we've seen him pass when he should shoot a bunch this year, TK. We've seen some questionable decision making.
Yeah, quite a lot of it.
We're trying to, and tonight, the perfect, Bush is saying over and over on the broadcast, every player in the league just buries that into the goalie's chest in that position. And he finds Zegras, tying goal, nice little pass. You can see why the guy had 50+ assists last year. But do you think they're good, Charlie? Are the Philadelphia Flyers, the East, I guess there's some sort of curve we have to grade them on, and I'm not sure if I figured it out yet, because, everyone's 500 except Buffalo, and they're not, a real organization. So, I don't know how to really assess everyone in the East, but they keep playing well even when they lose. I can't say they're not a good... I can't say they're a bad team.
Yeah.
That is I know they're not bad. I've watched plenty of bad hockey recently. I know what it is. They're not that. Are they good?
It's very funny and
not great. Obviously,
the joke I'll make is that the Flyers are basically like Schrodinger's hockey team. They're simultaneously good and bad. Schrodinger's cat is the cat where it's alive if it's in the box, but the minute you open the box, the cat's gonna die.
Yeah.
So simultaneously dead and alive at the same time. That's the Flyers. They're both good and bad. Because here's a classic example of their ability to be both good and bad. In the last 13 games, the Flyers are 7-3-3. That is a 107-point pace. But by the same token, it's also 7-6. It's it's 500, but also they're on a 100-point pace over the last 13 games, where you're like, are they good? Are they bad? Well, in some ways they're good. In other ways, they're just the ultimate mid. And maybe they are just the ultimate mid. And this is just a year where the entire Eastern Conference is the ultimate mid. But I don't think they're bad. And I'm going to go to the stats from today's game, because I do want to point this out, that this is not just me blowing smoke and saying no, actually they weren't that bad in this game. Here's the numbers from today's game from Natural Stat Trick comparing the Flyers' high danger chances and their expected goals that they created per Natural Stat Trick to the high danger chances and the expected goals that the Carolina Hurricanes created. Carolina Hurricanes, one of the favorites to win the Eastern Conference. Basically identical. And like same number of high danger chances, 17 to 17. Expected goals, this is all situations. Flyers had 3.74. The Canes had 3.65.
This is identical,
it's
basically.
Essentially a break-even game. That's what it was. This was a sloppy as hell game from both teams. But if you're viewing this game by only watching the Flyers, I can see how you would come away from it thinking like they played terribly because they made a ton of mistakes. But the truth is that the Canes made almost as many mistakes, if not more.
And the thing I like, and we'll go to break, I promise, Bryn. The thing I like about using these numbers in this situation, Charlie, it's the Carolina Hurricanes. This is their thing.
Yeah, their thing is the advanced stats.
Like, yeah, all right, maybe they don't have like the most talent, but they play this team game, they forecheck and play strong defense, and at the end, you go, yeah, they were probably the better team through 60 minutes. These numbers
65.
Show, 65. In this situation. This shows they were equally as mid or whatever you would call today's performance between both teams. So maybe we can credit the Flyers for bringing teams down. You know, they don't give up 1 million goals to Colorado. They take Vegas to overtime. They've now 3 out of 3 have gone to at least overtime. 2 of them a shootout with Carolina. These are the good teams in the league, and it would be nice to win a few of these, but it's not going poorly. Like when the difference is a 3-on-3 goal or a shootout goal, like that's the only thing that's deciding what your goal difference is. You're doing okay for yourself. That's my assessment.
They're simultaneously good and bad teams.
It's so hard to come up with an assessment of what the hell this team is. Maybe we will take the next 2 minutes to think about it as we throw to our first break. Listen up, Flyers fans. I got to tell you about Elkin Chevrolet because Elkin Chevrolet is run by 3 brothers, Jason, Adam, and Josh. Not only are they real brothers, but they're big Flyers fans, and that's how you know they have loyalty. Well, this holiday season, they're making sure you get a deal that will feel just as good as an orange and black win. They have a huge inventory of Chevy trucks and SUVs, and there's no better time to grab one at a price that is not going to last. They've got the Equinox. They've got the Trax. Those are a couple of cars that family members of mine drive and absolutely love. They've got the Silverado, the Blazer, so many Chevys to choose from. So whether it's getting to the game or to work or hitting the holiday road, you'll roll into the new year in the perfect ride at the perfect price. Elkin Chevrolet, real brothers, real deals, and a whole lot of that honking good service. Elkin Chevrolet is on Route 73 South in Marlton, New Jersey. Shop now at elkinchevrolet.com. Together, let's drive, and together, let's go Flyers. All right, listen up. Everybody has their favorite hard tea. It's the cool thing right now. You go into any store and they're everywhere. It boggles the mind. But have you ever turned the can around to read what's actually in your hard tea of choice? A lot of the times you can't because they won't tell you. And while others might hide what's inside, Crooked Tea brags about it. That's right, because Crooked Tea brews real USDA organic tea with real flavor and 0 sugar. There's no fake junk hiding behind the label. What you see is what you drink. So the next time you're at the store, flip that can. And if you can't find the ingredients, just put it back on the shelf and grab yourself a Crooked Tea, 0 sugar, real tea, and fully transparent. You know it, Philly. You recognize real. So why drink the fake stuff? Crooked Tea, the only thing better? It's a strip sack in the Super Bowl. Visit crookedtea.com to find a store near you. And let's go Birds, let's go Flyers. All right, we are going to get to the game changer in just a second. I saw a bunch of the comments during the break that were, well, okay, if they're good and bad, that makes them a mid-team. But that gets to what I'm saying about the Eastern Conference, is you look at these standings, Charlie, and I don't know. Washington has gone 7-1-2 in their last 10, and they are a game up on the Flyers, and the Flyers have a game in hand. Like, I don't know. Washington was awesome last year. They could have won the President's Trophy. They're making a surge again. Carolina, say what you will about their lack of postseason success. They're awesome. They are 6 points up on the Flyers. That's the only team that's more than 3 up on the Flyers. It's yes, maybe this is mid right now, just based on the period-to-period performance of the team. But you also have to look at the rest of the Eastern Conference.
Yeah.
Like, this is the level of competition they're playing against.
Well, and you also have to remember that, like, last year they were bad.
Yes.
Last year they were in
It's the fourth worst team in hockey
they were
last
an
year.
objectively bad team. So while mid is not exciting, it is a significant step forward from where they were last year. And that's what the people at the top of the organization said they wanted for this team. They straight up said before the start of training camp, we do not believe that, like, we have to make the playoffs for this year to be a success, but we do have to take a step forward. We have to be better. We have to be more competitive. And they have been. They are a competitive team. Now, whether that holds the rest of the year, we'll see. We're still only, what, 31 games in?
31.
There's still time for them to completely fall off,
Oh.
but they are better. And the way they are envisioning this rebuild work is that this is the first step towards a progressive improvement. Whether you believe that's going to come, that's your business, but this is what they wanted and they're getting it.
All right, so this is probably a topic better for like one of our 4 p.m. shows, but they play nonstop forever, so I don't know when we're going to get to do that next. I talked about this a little bit with Hunter Brody the other day. Him and I were having a conversation, and I do think a lot of people's frustration with what they are right now. You see them in a wild card spot. They're kind of in this mushy middle in the East, and you think about the last decade or whatever you want to say of Flyers hockey and go, oh, so they're just a bubble playoff team again. Great. So they are what they were for the Giroux prime, and we're going to do that again. And I think that is very, very much the wrong way to look at this thing. As much as, yeah, like, I get it. I wanted them to do the other thing with the rebuild. I understand why people are frustrated because they haven't played a home playoff game since 2018.
Well, I mean, 2020 wasn't their fault.
It happened.
Okay, I'm just saying. It's not their fault. There was a global pandemic.
We don't know it was. We're not positive of if that's true or not, Charlie. You tell me what Gritty is, you know? Where did he come from? What's he spreading around the world? Anyway. Anyway, there is a vast difference between this team right now and those teams that were stuck in, yeah, maybe we can get in a wild card, maybe we'll miss by a few points. They're considerably younger. They have young assets. And they're not in cap trouble.
And they have more young assets coming.
Yes.
Like, yes, this is a mid-team that will have Porter Martone next season. Will have more young players. You know, they have Oliver Bond coming. They have Alex Bump coming. They have Denver Barker coming. They have legitimate quality prospects coming. So, like, just because they're mid now doesn't mean they're going to be mid forever.
Matvei Michkov turned 21 a week ago. He is
Don't
not.
bring up Michkov.
Yeah, he's not what he's going to be.
He's not.
Like, Trevor Zegras isn't even playing his natural position right now. We don't know what the hell this defense is going to be, but I like it, and it's clearly not, like, at its top level. There's lots of stuff that can still happen. Martone, Bump, Barkey, all these guys. Forster is missing right now. He was maybe their most consistent player outside of Zegras for the first, however many games before he got hurt, 25 or whatever it was. There's a higher ceiling because our best players aren't at their peak. It was Giroux and Voracek, and they were in their prime.
And
they were never going to be better than they were.
And you had no way to build anything more around them because you were in cap hell, and you had no prospects.
Yes. So there is a considerable difference between these two situations, and looking at it the other way is kind of wanting to on purpose. Like, I understand frustration, but, like, it is considerably different. All right. Now it's time for tonight's Game Changer, driven by Elkin Chevrolet. Elkin Chevrolet, together, let's drive. Charlie, I might not be the greatest talent evaluator in the world, but Trevor Zegras is pretty good at hockey.
He's quite good at it.
He is. His ability for this, he creates all of their offense. Especially since Forster's been out and Mishkov's now in another little slump. He did get the secondary assist on the first goal today, so that's nice. We cashed that bet. But Trevor Zegras now over a point per game. He got back to that mark last night. 2 points tonight puts him over. Is this as well as it could have possibly gone? Like, I guess he could have scored in the last 2 shootouts, but other than that, like, in your assessment of, okay, you always think of like possible outcomes, right? Is this the tippy top, what he's been at least through 31 games?
You mean tippy top as in
what he could have been when they
realistically, like, best case scenario? I mean,
I guess he could have been Connor McDavid, but he's not.
I guess the best, like, The only negative you can point to, which is why it's funny that it's constantly pointed to, is that he's not playing center.
Yeah.
That's the only thing. Because other than that, he's been great. Like, beyond great. And this is a point I'm going to make about this, because I want to reference something that was said in the chat. And I want to point out why I disagree with it. One of the things that was said in the chat at the beginning was, and I get the sense this was not sarcasm, this was dead serious, was, how can you not lead the show off talking about Matvei Michkov? He's the only thing that matters. And that's where I disagree. He's not the only thing that matters. He's not, like, as much as people want him to be, he's not the main character of this season. He's not. He was the main character of last season because he was like one of their only players that was consistently playing well, and he was a rookie, and he was getting used to North America, and it was like, how good is this kid? Is he for real? Okay, we're pretty sure he's for real. He's not the main character of this season. You know who the main character of this season is? I think it might be Trevor Zegras, because here's the thing. This is not like they traded for a guy in Trevor Zegras who is 28, 29 years old, where it's like, Claude Giroux, okay, yeah, he's having a great season, but like, whatever.
This is who he is.
He's 24. He's 24 going on 25. At what point? Because I get the sense, whether it's, I don't know if it's hesitation because he still feels like found money. And it's like, well, we don't want to invest too much of our hopes in him because he still doesn't feel like he's like, could be part of the core. But at what point do you start looking at a 24-year-old and say, he should be we should treat him like he's a core piece. We should treat him like a piece the Flyers can build around. Because I get the sense he's not talked about like that, even though he's playing like that. And he's at the age where a guy who's playing as well as he is playing should be discussed like that.
I guess for me, like, I absolutely think he is at this point. It's going to be when he is signed as a long-term piece. Like, right now, we don't know what his contractual future is.
Okay, fair. But he's an RFA. It's not like he's a pending UFA.
Sure. But that is, I think, only one more. I think it's only one more year of RFA.
I'd have to go back through. It's either one or two. But my point is that it's not like they have to worry about him pulling a Quinn Hughes.
Yes. No. And it does seem like he's happy to be back on the East Coast. He has found a place that works for him. The relationship with the coach seems to be working. I find this fun, Charlie. He's up to 32 points in 31 games. He had 32 in 57 last year. Like, he is blowing away what he has done in the bad seasons, and on a much better pace than the seasons in which it was like, yo, this guy's going to be one of the faces of the league. Now, obviously, we're in a world now where it's not, oh man, a point-a-game player is a superstar. It's, yeah, the superstars score 130 points now. But if he continues to ascend a little bit, like right now, he's your best player, and I don't see that changing anytime soon.
It certainly doesn't look like it's going to. And I think this is the flip side of the Michkov conversation, because obviously Matvei Michkov was great last year. He scored a ton of points. He led the team in goals. He was in the Calder mix the entire year. I really remember when, and I know that there was a lot of pushback on this, but remember in the lead up to last season when Danny Briere was basically saying, like, we're not expecting him to score a ton of points in his rookie year. We're expecting this to be a process, you know. And then even before this season, he's like, he scored way more points than I thought he was going to in his rookie year. It's almost like this season is what they thought his rookie year was going to be.
Yeah, like
it's
flashes.
Like this is what they want. This is the way they want to develop him. They want it to be a slow and steady thing. And I think someone like Trevor Zegras is almost like allowing them, because like Zegras is getting the minutes and getting the usage that Michkov got last year. And it's almost like they feel like they had to use Michkov in those situations because they had no one else. Now they have Zegras, and Zegras is getting those minutes. Zegras is getting the 20 minutes that Michkov was getting. Zegras is getting the overtime minutes. Zegras is getting, you know, all he's the centerpiece of the power play the way Michkov was. And it's almost like I think that's the way they always wanted it. It's just they didn't have anybody, because it's like, well, I guess we have Morgan Frost and the coach hates him, so whatever. Now Zegras is Zegras is the offensive centerpiece of this team in the way that Michkov was the offensive centerpiece of last year's team. And I think the disconnect is that they like that.
Yeah.
And fans hate it.
And I do think with Zegras, like this, it allows everything you're saying like to occur. And the Michkov of it all is Yeah, well, I think people are scared. That's what I think people
Oh
are
yeah, of
scared
course they are.
Michkov isn't what they thought they were. And they are so attached to that being the thing that they're just afraid to like include Zegras in that same conversation. Martone, because we drafted him and he's not here yet, so he hasn't been able to disappoint us.
He could even be a luxury liner.
Yeah, like we can think about Martone in a way of, well, he's not even here, and maybe he's as good as Mish. But I have been thinking about this, like the way you just put it. With Rick Tocchet not being positively or negatively predisposed to anybody, not having the relationship that Tortorella did last year, because Tortorella comes into last year knowing that he doesn't have anyone who can score outside of Travis Konecny.
Yeah.
So he's automatically like, as long as this kid shows me he knows how to put his skates on the right feet, I'm putting him out there. And he's putting out there like 17, 18 minutes to start the season. That didn't happen with Rick Tocchet. But here comes this other guy. And I think people are just having trouble with that because they've had the relationship with Michkov and the coach just doesn't. And listen, he did kind of let the team down a little. I'm not saying this is going to be a hanging offense, that I'm anti-Michkov, run him out of town. His summer wasn't good enough, and the team's counting on him. If they are going to make the playoffs, you would think he'd be a big part of it.
I just think that maybe we should, not forever. I'm still fully expecting that in the next, because number one, I'm not expecting Michkov to be traded. If they were going to trade Matvei Michkov, they would have traded him for Quinn Hughes. And if they didn't trade him for Quinn Hughes, they're not going to trade Matvei Michkov. I got news for you. So I'm expecting Matvei Michkov to be around for a while. And I think over the next few years, he will develop into the guy. But he's not the guy this year. And I don't think that's the end of the world, especially when you have another guy who isn't a veteran, who isn't in his 30s. He's 24. And when you have another guy who is producing it as if he is the guy, shouldn't we have the conversation about the possibility that like he might be the guy, at least for now, while Michkov is still developing and Martone isn't here yet? Like I don't think that's like, and I don't think that's crapping on Michkov. I think that's being excited about what we've seen in Trevor Zegras.
I think it's the difference between a prime age player and a developing, not prospect, but guy still very much finding his way in this league. Like the way he started and the way he finished very much allow us to forget that in the middle of the season, Michkov was invisible a lot. 7 points in like 25 games, and 3 of them were in one game or something, like it went poorly for a while, but because there was nothing else, it was, well, yeah, he's got no help. What do you expect? He's 20 years old, 19 years old. Now we're in a little bit of a different situation. All right, we will talk more about Zegras. We have a lot of other stuff to get to still, all your super chats, but we have to take one more break. This is for the last minute shoppers out there, because if you're like me, you go in with a great idea, you really want to get something meaningful and personal, and suddenly everything is out of stock, the shelves are empty, and you just end up getting a bunch of gift cards. Well, Aura Frames is the solution with a gift that feels personal. I'm always doing it for my parents. I end up just sending them to some of their favorite restaurants. But with Aura Frames, you can upload unlimited photos and video. Just download the Aura app and connect to the Wi-Fi. You can even pre-upload for them. You can't wrap togetherness, but you can frame it. For a limited time, you can save on the perfect gift by visiting auraframes.com to get $35 off Aura's best-selling Carver matte frames, which have been named #1 by Wirecutter. All you got to do is use promo code PHLY at checkout. That's auraframes.com, promo code PHLY. This deal is exclusive to our listeners, and frames sell out fast, so order yours now and get it in time for the holidays. And make sure you support the show by mentioning us at checkout. Terms and conditions apply. If joint or muscle pain is keeping you from doing the things you enjoy, whether it's walking the dog, working out, or just moving comfortably through your day, it's time to get the care you deserve. At Rothman Orthopedics, you'll find expert treatment for injuries and chronic conditions alike, with personalized care focused on helping you move better sooner. Rothman's 190-plus fellowship-trained physicians specialize in specific areas of the body and a multitude of orthopedic services, including hip, knee, spine, foot, and ankle. You name it, they do it. And year over year, Rothman consistently performs amongst the highest volume of hip, knee, shoulder, and ankle replacements in the country. That's over 60,000. Rothman proudly serves dozens of communities across Pennsylvania, New Jersey, and Florida with 30-plus convenient offices. offices, urgent cares, and walk-in centers. So visit rothmanortho.com/PHLY to schedule your appointment. Rothman Orthopedics, your mobility, our mission. All right, so Trevor Zegras right now, I mean, he's been phenomenal for the Flyers. At what point, though, do we say he has to be playing center? Like, we need to find out that part now, because is he dedicated? Is he trying to win games, or is he playing for clicks? All that stuff, I think we've put behind us.
I would hope so.
He is playing really, really solid hocky consistently.
From what I've heard, ESPN isn't ready to put that behind us, but I'm ready to put that behind us.
Yeah, of course.
That broadcast would not shut up about it.
Just that perception of Zegras, all that stuff we were waiting to find out. Now, he does have to get through the year healthy, but you can't do that until, the year ends. You just got to keep playing, and then hopefully you're at 75, 80, 82 games. At what point, though, do we transition to, all right, now we got to find out this other thing about him? Because maybe that's part of people's, hey, we kind of have the wingers. Now, you can never have enough good players.
Not sure they have a winger better than Trevor Zegras.
Yes, that's the...
Just saying.
Right now, they certainly do not. With, Forster out, Martone not here, Michkov disappointing. They don't have anyone close to Zegras right now. But at what point do we... but we have to find out this other thing, because if that comes through, now we have at least one real solution. Not just a high-end talent, but roster-building solution if he's a center.
I'll be honest with you. If I had to guess, it's not going to happen this year. Unless injuries strike. If injuries strike, he will get a look there. He will. But it's not going to happen this year, because I expect they're going to be in the playoff mix all year. And if they're in the playoff mix all year, Rick Tocchet believes, his belief is that if Trevor Zegras plays center for more than a few shifts a game, if he is just set it and forget it, he's center for 18, 20 minutes, the Flyers will lose more games than they win if he plays wing. And if they are in a tight playoff race the entire year, which it sure looks like they're going to be, I do not think he's going to get a long look at center unless other centers get injured and they have no choice. And that's just the reality.
Let's say it's on the wing then. At what point do we find out if we can have a consistent lineup that includes a consistent line that includes your two most dynamic, at least perception skilled forwards, Trevor Zegras and Matvei Michkov? I
think that happens quicker. I do. Because I think that just depends upon at what point. Hopefully it happens soon, but I don't know when it's going to happen. Hopefully at some point, Tocchet starts to trust him more. Because that's really what it boils down to. At this point, is the fitness thing an issue? Not really. He wasn't able to make gains in the summer. So I think the hope is going to be the leap that Vladar took in year 3, because he changed up his training and then suddenly looked quicker, and now he's over a point per game guy. That's what they're hoping to see for Michkov next year if he really goes crazy in the summer, and I think everybody's fully expecting him to. But he wasn't able to make gains, so that's really the fitness issue. It's not like he's, dramatically out of shape. Now it's a trust thing. It's a trust thing, and that's what you saw in overtime.
Yeah.
I wanted to see Matvei Michkov in overtime because he's fun in overtime. He scored a ton of big goals last year in overtime. Now, Tocchet wasn't there for them, but there's something stopping him from flipping on a video and watching all the cool things he did in overtime last year. I'm sure somebody could put together a highlight reel. Wouldn't take that long. It's not like there's a ton of minutes played in overtime anyway, so we could, but it just comes down to trust. Obviously, the overtime was a little screwed up because of the penalty. But and then there were a bunch of defensive zone draws. He's not going to put him out there for a defensive zone draw again because he doesn't trust him. I want it to get to the point where he trusts him more. It would make it more fun for everyone, but it's abundantly clear at this point he doesn't trust him. And until he trusts him, he's not going to put him on a line with Trevor Zegras because he's giving Zegras 20-plus minutes a night. And he doesn't want to give Michkov 20-plus minutes a night, clearly.
All right, so we got to get to some of our scheduled stuff. Unsung hero coming up in just a second, Bryn. Matvei Michkov, 13:29 in a 65-minute game. Owen Tippett, 17:50. Why does he trust Owen Tippett more than Mish?
It's a good question. I don't think Owen Tippett... So, Owen Tippett is obviously hilariously inconsistent. Owen Tippett is, while certainly not perfect defensively, is more polished defensively. He does more of the things in terms of positioning, in terms of reads that the coaches want out of a player than Michkov does at this stage. Plus, and this might be a non-insignificant part of it, I don't know, Tippett's a hell of a lot better of a skater.
That is one I'm willing to accept. I have noticed Tippett working harder on defense, but he's by no means good at it.
I don't think he's good at it, but also this is a guy who, and people always are shocked when I say this because it doesn't fit with their perception of Owen Tippett. Owen Tippett has never, since he's been a Flyer, he's always graded out pretty well by advanced metrics. He is not Travis Konecny is a liability by advanced metrics most of the time. You're just like, well, he's going to score points, so you deal with it. Owen Tippett pretty much every year is always slightly positive. And if he was as bad defensively as people think he is, he wouldn't be slightly positive.
Well, between him and Yegor Zamula, I might have to start rethinking everything. Just everything I know about analytics. All right, it is time for the Unsung Hero presented by Togo. Togo, the leader in operations outsourcing. Let Togo handle the work that gets in the way of your work. You call the plays, we execute. Togo, I'm going to go with TK tonight for the Unsung Hero, Charlie, because that pass to Zegras was really something. That's really what it comes down to for me with TK. Like I said earlier in the show, that guy is just going to drive us crazy. And now that I actually care about the result of games, I'm going to notice it more. I'm not actively rooting against them the way I was for most of last year, he still comes away even when, okay, he's had a little rough patch. And then you look like, oh, he's their leading scorer for the last 2 weeks. Oh, when did that happen? Well, he just is. He figures out ways to help this team, even if you go, what the hell's he doing out there? And I want to make him the unsung hero tonight because I thought,
a great pass.
The decision making we have questioned, especially recently. You always say, he's chaos on skates. That's his game.
Yep.
But recently we've been like, what the hell? What are these decisions he's making? Tonight, an excellent decision that led to a game tying goal, and that's why they get at least 1 point out of this.
Yeah, I mean, look. Travis Konecny is Travis Konecny. I call him a chaos merchant for a reason. That's what he is. It's sheer chaos all the time. John Tortorella a couple nights ago called him a wingnut. I'm sure he used much more colorful language behind closed doors to call Travis Konecny at times during his tenure as head coach. But in the end, the production is there because he can make plays like that. I get pushback when I call Travis Konecny a high skill player, a high end talent. He is. He's a frustrating high end talent. But he's high-end talent because high-end talent guys can make plays like the one that he made to Trevor Zegras to tie the game.
I do have trouble. I have trouble describing him as a skill player because he is a skill player. He puts up points. It's not like he's just in front getting deflections. But it's not the toe drag through the legs. It's nothing like Trevor Zegras. Trevor Zegras, skill player, skill in bold and italic. It's different with Konecny, so I get why people, but at the end of the day,
I mean, he's a plus skater who is even with the decision-making issues, he has always been stellar at creating scoring chances for his line mates via the pass. And before, I guess the last, 9 months was a plus shooter too. Hopefully that comes back at some point.
He is excellent at scoring on empty nets. I'll give him that.
That is true.
Listen, that's not even sarcasm. Empty net goals to me are like saves in baseball. Yeah, sometimes you're up 3 and the bottom of the order's up and it's not that hard. And sometimes you needed that empty net goal to end the game.
Yeah.
That's just the way I
guess actually now that we're in mid-December, it's more like 11 months. Because he stopped scoring in January, right?
It was game 41. He scored 2 goals. They were his 19th and 20 goals, 19th and 20th goals. And then he had 4 more the rest of the year.
So you're hoping at some point the high shooting percentage comes back because for a long time it was a big part of his game. But even if it doesn't, and I think it will at least to a degree, he is very good at setting up scoring chances and he is a very good skater. I view him as a high skill player, high end player. Now, is he a, top player on a great team? Good? No. But if you traded him to a playoff team, I guarantee you regardless of the playoff team, they'd use him in their top 6.
They would be better than before they had him.
He'd be getting 17, 18 minutes a night on any playoff team.
All right, before we get to stars and your super chats and everything we have left, we're going to throw it to our last break, and then that'll be that. More fun to come. All right, fam, do we really want Matvei Michkov playing goalie? No, it's not worth the risk, time, or money. It doesn't make any sense. You keep your stars focused on doing what they do best, and the same goes for your business. Togo can help any business looking to streamline operations, become more efficient, or unlock more time for their best people. From customer service and accounting to order management, logistics, admin, data entry, and even complex multi-step operational processes, Togo takes it off your plate at a fraction of the cost. Every engagement with Togo starts with free process mapping and engineering. Togo doesn't bill a dime until the real work begins. With programs starting as $1,000 a month, you're not going to break the bank either. Each Togo program includes dedicated staff, custom automations, and US-based process engineers who act as your quarterback, giving you complete control, total transparency, and instant efficiency. At Togo, you call the plays, we execute. Visit harnesstogo.com. Scale smarter, work faster, and stay focused on winning. Togo! You know that moment, the one where you realize you left your favorite sunglasses at the beach or on the roof of your car or at a gas station 3 states away. Well, I have been there. I lose my glasses in the ocean like twice a year. It happens. But then I found Shady Rays and it changed the game for me because these sunglasses are made for real life. They're cool looking, they're polarized, they're durable, and they're not crazy expensive. And here's the wild part. If you lose or break them even on day one, Shady Rays will send you a brand new pair. No guilt trip, just replacements. So now I actually wear my favorite sunglasses without fear. I wear them to the beach. I even wear them in the ocean. I wear them to concerts, on the boat, wherever. Shady Rays is eyewear that has your back. And we have teamed up with Shady Rays to bring you an exclusive offer. Head to shadyrays.com and use code PHLY for 35% off polarized sunglasses. Try for yourself. The shades rated 5 stars by over 300,000 people. Don't wait. They make a great gift. Charlie O'Connor's 3 stars of the game. It's always a little, I always feel weird because we only do Flyers stars now. It's like, well, they lost. But I do think you can come up with 3 decent ones here, Chuck. So who is star number 3?
Yeah, I'm going to go with the guy we just talked about, Travis Konecny.
Okay.
For a great play. He actually graded out as one of the team's better better on-ice expected goals players in this game. One of the few, I believe, he came out at 61.17, so the top forward under only Jamie Drysdale, who had another strong defensive game, I thought. Made some really good defensive plays. He just continues to be impressive. I considered him for 3rd star.
His stick is phenomenal.
Yeah, it's really, he's rounding into a very strong all-around defenseman. Now you just want to see a little bit more offense out of him. But Konecny makes that great pass, and he basically gets it on the strength of that alone. But even aside from that, I thought he made plays this game. 3rd star of the game.
Star number 2.
Star number 2, I'm going to go a little controversial here. I'm going to go with Trevor Zegras as the 2nd star of the game. Look, we talked about it. Scores the game-tying goal, picks up an assist on the Drysdale goal. He is the engine that drives this offense. He is. He's the engine that drives this offense. He is the centerpiece right now, more than Konecny, more than Michkov, more than obviously Owen Tippett. Every night you can expect he's going to make plays and he's going to pick up a point or 2. Trevor Zegras comes through in the clutch, just keeps making plays. Would have just been nice if he got one shootout goal this week, and that would have been great.
It would be nice.
2nd star.
I guess, I really just hate statistical regression. All right. And now, who's star number 1? I'm actually curious.
Star number 1, and I'm actually kind of glad that we didn't talk about it because now we can talk about him. I'm giving it to Dan Vladar. Dan Vladar faced a ton of high-quality chances. He's the only reason they were in this game after the first period when Carolina just basically, like, they were the only team on the ice. Vladar made a bunch of great saves. I don't blame him for the shootout. He gave up 1 goal in three shots, whatever. Like, okay, you know what? Dan Vladar deserves a lot of credit for the season he's having. He faced, as we looked at it earlier, he faced nearly 4 expected goals.
Yeah, almost 4.
Yeah, gives up 2. Okay. Like, he was standing on his head. Now, he might have gotten outplayed by the goalie on the other side, who was also fantastic, but that shouldn't take away from the game Vladar had. The Flyers played well in this game in terms of like keeping up with Carolina by the numbers, but they don't get a point in this game if Dan Vladar doesn't have the game he had. We're looking at the numbers right now. .939 save percentage, 31 saves on 33 shots. Pretty darn good. I'm giving it to Vladar.
All right. It's hard to argue. It's absolutely hard to argue. At one point in the game, Charlie, when the Flyers were starting to show some signs of life, like they might be able to come back in this one, I think they were on like 17 shots or so. And I was just looking at it like, can you say you got goalied if you only get like 25? They end up with 26, but that's really the way it looked like it was going until Konecny gets that puck over to Zegras. Bussy was good.
He was really good.
He was really good.
He was
tonight.
really good. Okay, one more thing. We need to get to at least 100 likes.
Yeah, we
folks.
need
I
some
know
more
you're
likes.
mad about the game.
We need some more likes.
But we need to get to 100 likes. There's more than 200 people watching this show right now. We're only at 70. Hit that like button.
All right. One of the things I wanted to talk to you about, Charlie, is I am ready to change the conversation about Nikita Grebenkin.
Okay.
Nikita Grebenkin tonight gets a shift. He comes off the ice in the second period with like 6.5 minutes left or so. Doesn't get back on the ice until the same time the following period. Gets 2 shifts in the third, both in the final 7 minutes or so. When do we get to the point of next in terms of that roster spot?
It's a fair question. That penalty that he took in the first period, it's the penalty where Carolina scores their second goal on. And like, it was the opposite of like a ball don't lie, where it was like you kill a penalty when it was a BS penalty. And you're like, yeah, that just feels karmically correct. That was such a dumb penalty. It felt karmically correct that they scored on it because it was just so stupid. Like, what are you even doing? He just punched the dude.
In real time, I see it and I'm like, well, maybe the puck's in the air and he was trying to play it with his glove. And then they show the replay, and it's like, yeah, puck's behind him. He has no idea where it is. And he just goes, bah!
Yeah.
Right to Nikishin's face. And it's
all the officials are looking at them. Like, it's not even like it's off to the side.
The puck is in the air. It's going to land.
No one's going to miss that.
It's going to land in between them. The camera is on them. Everyone's attention is on them. And he just, bah! Yeah, I'm going to get you in the... What? I think that guy has a skill set and might be something one day. If Alex Bump is here on Tuesday, I'm not going to be upset.
Yeah, we talked about it. I think we talked about it in pregame that my view with Grebenkin is I'd like to give him until the Christmas break.
Okay.
Let's see if there's a breakthrough that gives him another week and a half in the top 9. And if you're still seeing this, then bring up Alex Bump or bring up somebody or put Grunstrom in the top 9, whatever. But based on the minutes he got in this game, he might not get until the Christmas break. They might do something sooner because you got 6:48 in a game where, it was the second game of back-to-back, third game in 4, and the coach is like, yeah, I trust you so little that I'll run everybody else into the ground because I just can't trust you not to do something stupid. And while I have my disagreements with some of Rick Tocchet's decision-making in terms of ice time, that was one where it's like, you know what, fair. If he never sees the ice the rest of this game, I get it.
If this wasn't the back end of a back-to-back that went to OT last night, 3 out of 4, all in OT, he doesn't get a shift in the third period. Absolutely not. Last thing on Coots, and then we'll do Super Chats, Charlie.
Okay.
Sup with your boy.
He looked exhausted.
He made a great play in overtime.
In all honesty, I think he was really good in the overtime. I mean, he didn't win a bunch of faceoffs, but he made a lot of really good plays in overtime, won battles, did a good job killing penalties.
That great penalty was great.
That great pass that he sends to Sanheim that nearly gave the Flyers a win. In regulation, though, dude looked like he was 45 years old.
That turnover, where they finally get a clear, he's going to skate it out, he's going to try to get the red line, skates it right into traffic as both teams are trying to change, and he's between the benches, then tries to go back with it, and just creates a 3-on-1. Anybody but the captain, 33-year-old Mr. Defense responsible guy, they ain't getting back on the ice.
Well, maybe not getting back on the ice the rest of the game, but they're getting sat
for a couple of minutes.
They're getting sat for a bit.
Yeah.
Missing a couple shifts.
I know it's like, all right, maybe it's not going to be Dvorak, Zegras, Michkov soon. I do wonder, like, while we complain about the time that Michkov gets, how much of, like, maybe more of the blame needs to go to Coots. Because, like, he's out there in certain situations where it's like go out to take the face off, kill penalties. So his numbers, his time on ice seems higher. But, like, 5-on-5, just putting that line out there, we said pregame, like, they're getting sheltered, and it's for good reason.
Yeah. But by the same token, there's no player on the Flyers that is grading out better by advanced metrics this year than no forward than Sean Couturier. He's got the best numbers, and again, some of that is because he's not getting as tough minutes as he used to. Flyers are driving play. They're controlling the scoring chance battle with Sean Couturier on the ice, and that is not just, you can't just be like, well, it's just because he's on the line with Matvei Michkov, because Couturier's numbers are better.
All right.
I think he was exhausted tonight, and I think there's a conversation that should be had about, second game of back-to-back, third game in 4, hockey players.
Do you think we'll ever get there?
Hockey players are never going to buy into load management, but like, I don't know, say he banged his shoulder.
It comes
And sit 'em.
up. It comes up on like a broadcast or like a national pod, like 32 Thoughts or Marek or something, and they're like, it's not just Couturier exclusive. Like any old guy, like you think they might, and the first comment from whoever is just, well, you never want it to get like basketball, and we're just saying a 33-year-old with a couple of back surgeries who like is signed forever, so we kind of want to maybe keep him alive for the end of that deal when this team might actually play meaningful games. He doesn't play 80, he plays 67. Yeah, just a thought.
I just, they're never going to do it.
They'll never do.
But I think in situations like this, when it's a brutal schedule and then he looks as tired as he looked in regulation, like maybe you have the conversation, at least internally. At least you have the conversation internally and be like, so if we were to do that, what do you think he would do?
You know why why they won't consider it?
Because of the torts thing?
No, not even that, but maybe that's the answer as well. The captain sets the standard.
Yeah. Well, you
can't do it.
But you know what?
I want them to, and you can't.
If that's the case, and then this is a Tocchet thing. If that's the case, and you can't sit him because captain and whatever, then Tocchet has to go into a game like this with a plan that if after the first 3 or 4 shifts, I can tell he doesn't have his legs, he's only getting 12 minutes. And you got to have an actual thought out plan going into the game to be like, all right, you know what? I'm just going to have to deal with the fact that this game, Christian Dvorak's getting 24.
All right, with that, we go to Super Chats. Thank you for your 100 likes. Let's keep boosting that number up.
Yeah.
First one is from Obi-Wan. He says, Trevor Zegras is a really good hockey player. I agree. And
quite good, in fact.
I don't want to be controversial here. I don't want to offend anybody, but Trevor Zegras, really freaking good at hockey. That was my best Norm Macdonald.
Love it.
All right, next one here is from JH. Says, no Michkov in overtime. We're trying to win games, then effing try to win games, Tocchet, you coward. There is something to that. Like, we called it the other game, that last game they were tied where we didn't see a ton of Michkov. Maybe it was the Vegas game. Like, you needed to win.
Yeah.
You weren't, this wasn't a road game. I know they're better but like, try to win it in regulation. Get the guy who might score a goal out there.
And Tocchet's answer probably would be he is trying to win, and that he believes that Michkov at this point is more of a risk to be on the ice for a goal against than a goal for. That would be his answer. You're free to disagree with that, but like I don't think this is a justification of like, oh well, he's just scared to go for the win. In his mind, he is going for the win by hesitating to use him in overtime. And part of the disconnect here is because we watched Michkov be crazy in overtime last year, and it's like, well, how do you not want that guy out there?
And it's not even like overtime, because that I actually understand a little bit more, because 3-on-3, a lot of ice. We know about the shape he's in, everything, end of a game, blah, blah, blah. A couple extra shifts in the third period of a 1-goal game might help him, he might put one in the net.
Especially when you're down.
Yeah.
Because that to me, like when you're trailing is when I find it hardest to accept. Because if it's tied, I get the way you would think in your head of, okay, well, the calculation is let's get to overtime, get the point. I might not agree with it, but I get it more. Whereas if you're down 2-1, like, yeah, Matvei Michkov might make it more likely they score a goal against you, but he's also going to make it more likely that you score a goal. And is there really that big of a difference between losing 2-1 and losing 3-1?
No, there isn't. And with that, speaking of overtime, we're heading to overtime. Go to allphly.com to keep watching. All right. Next one here is from Turbo JXSH8112. All right. Matvei Michkov, Zegras, what is PM? Porter Martone. Good future, so I don't cry today. Yeah, the future's I am not down on the direction of things. There is a lot of stuff that has to happen for this to work.
True.
But I'm not down on the current direction. But I actually care about the outcomes of games for the first time in a little while, and it bothers me when they lose.
Yeah, it's frustrating. They did get a point, but it's still frustrating.
Yeah. All right. Next one here from JH. Is the new era of Orange just the friends we made along the way? Has Tocchet reached the slashes Michkov's tires in the parking lot level of hate yet? That's not their relationship. From
Yeah.
everything I've heard, and I haven't just asked you. I have asked you on the air because I don't screw it. Let's see if he says it on the air. But like I've asked other people who might have had conversations with the coach of this team, and no one seems to think he like, oh yeah, this is just we're bringing him along. He had the ankle thing in the summer, but he'll be okay. And then eventually they trade him. No one seems to think that's the way this is headed, at least right now.
Yeah, that's the same read I get, which again is why when I see the stuff online, it's not like it doesn't like get me mad. It's just like it's completely diametrically opposed to everything I'm hearing from the people I talk to. Like, yeah, I get that people want him to have more ice time, but I don't think the fact that he's not getting the ice time means that like Tocchet despises the kid.
Yeah.
He just doesn't think as highly of the Michkov of today as fans do.
And honestly, that part is fair. What he does about that, we can disagree on. I think it's fair that he doesn't think as highly of him as we do because we saw him last year and he didn't. Like, I get that. It's just try something else. All right. JH again. Midropolitan division confirmed. It is.
I like that.
It is funny.
It's good.
It's this division is like you look at, okay, the Flyers are mid. We've been through this. You know, they have 2 games in hand on the Devils and they're a point up. Like the Devils, I realize injuries and stuff, but like they have designs on a Stanley Cup. That they think if they're healthy, they're that good. The Flyers have beaten them and they're ahead of them in the standings. It's very interesting Eastern Conference this year.
It is.
All right, DA Flyers, man. Too many people act like this team is already a finished product. They're still developing, and seeing them play close games against contenders already is a positive sign. Yeah, that's I think that's basically the conversation we had of like, they're not stuck the way they were, and here's why.
Yeah.
Like, their young players could get better. They could still acquire other guys because they're not in cap hell for 5 years the way they were. Like, there's just difference.
There is a path to them getting out of being mid.
It's going to be difficult.
Now, whether they do or not is, again, and this is the point I make on social media all the time, in the end, it boils down to whether you have a front office that makes good moves. Because if you have a front office, like if you tank and you have a bad front office that makes dumb moves, your tank is going to fail. If you do the competitive rebuild and you have a front office that makes dumb moves or doesn't make enough good moves, your rebuild's going to fail. If you have a tank and you have an intelligent front office, tank's probably going to work. If you have a competitive rebuild and you have a good front office, the competitive rebuild also will probably work.
Hey, if
you just need a good front office that makes good moves, I hope they continue to make good moves. They made a lot of them this summer. They need to make a lot more.
You also need luck, which we've discussed. You could do a competitive retool and things could be looking up, and then your 2C of the future retires and your second defenseman says, I don't really like playing hockey in the COVID era. I'm just going to go be with my family. Like, those things could happen too. Sometimes you just have bad luck.
Yeah, and then your emerging 5th round pick gets cancer and it's for the same.
Who can't forget, you know? Like,
fun times.
I just want them to be good again, Charlie. All right, this next one here is, I have no idea what that says. Oh, it's Blessed Martin. Blessed Martian. That's right. Yeah. God damn it. I knew once Creed was playing in the arena at the start of overtime, we were doomed. 6 feet under does indeed feel so far down.
Bill's having trouble talking. Please don't make him also sing.
I can't today. I woke up with no voice today. It's a, I'm basically the toughest SOB you've ever met getting through the show. You know, talking about hockey. I'm a hockey player.
I'm a hockey player.
I'm just gonna go curl up, put on a little onesie when I get home. All right.
Think that got him going?
Yeah. All right. Next one here is Matt Fred. Schrodinger's cat was both dead and alive, 50-50 chance of dying while the lid is closed until observed, which is more like the Flyers because we need to see more of this team to know what they are.
Yeah, we're just, I mean, they are capable of being good, they're capable of being bad, and often that comes in the same game, which is probably part of the reason why it's so tough to fairly evaluate them, because depending upon which game you pay which part of the game you pay closest attention to, that probably will partially drive how you feel about the team on a given night.
Like the tone of instant reactions changes, like because I do the period
you
by
do it in
period,
order, yeah.
And it's probably very funny to read through, just as I'm like, whatever, it's over anyway, and then they're back. All right. Next one here is I can't see that.
It's Tobias Stain.
Tobias Stain. Okay.
So I know that we all think Michkov was amazing in overtime last year. His 3 OT goals were all in November, though. I don't think that really matters one way or the other. He still scored them, right?
Yeah, and
they were still really cool.
Over last season and this season, nobody else on the team has more than one.
I did not know that.
Even if they all came in 1 month, nobody else has had a month like that. No one else is capable. So
it was a real fun month.
It was very fun.
I'd like to see that again.
I would too. All right. R. Park says, I was behind the Flyers bench and gotta say Dan Vladar was the hype man, always positive and keeping teams heads up. Great effort from the team. Proud of them. Go Flyers.
Actually, I want to do an article on that because I've heard that from so many people that like Vladar is he's the rare goalie who even in games he's starting, he just swings by the bench and is just like, yo, keep going, guys. I want to do an article because it's so fascinating because it's so unlike goalies to be that like friendly.
I just think of goalies so often as mascots, like the helmet's on, they ain't talking. And so when I hear things like Flower, his whole career, like just glove saved, like, nope, not today, and just like talk trash. Like, I don't think of goalies as
thanking his goalpost.
Yeah, like I don't think of goalies as having any personality. And then when they're like normal, that's even crazier. It seems like Vladar is kind of normal.
He seems pretty normal. He seems like a really good dude.
Yeah. All right. Second to last one here is Sam Rogan. Sam Rogers?
Sam S. Rogers?
Sam S. Rogers, sure.
Sure.
There was a point where the league sort of figured out Shane Gostisbehere years ago. Not the same position, but have teams figured him out already?
I mean, I guess we're talking about Michkov.
I guess. Here's the thing.
It's honestly a fascinating comparison because we just watched Shane Gostisbehere tonight.
This
doesn't really look like they ever figured him out fully.
Here's what happened. Shane recovered from the ACL, and then he had the hip core thing.
Sure.
He lost a lot of mobility.
Yeah.
It took him a little while to figure that out. And now he, as they showed on the broadcast, second in the league for defenseman points per game behind some guy named Cale Makar. Bobby Orr? Yeah, it's pretty good.
Pretty good. But let me put it this way.
I do think he needs to, this is the adjustment period. This is what being a young player is. You come in, they figure you out, you figure it's a volleyball game.
And also, if there is any better Flyers related cautionary tale towards like not giving up on a dude because he's not as good as you originally thought he was going to be or isn't doing it quick enough, it's Shane Gostisbehere. Like they paid to get rid of that guy. And like, he's going to probably breeze past 1,000 NHL games played.
Yeah.
Maybe you shouldn't have done that.
Maybe you shouldn't.
Just because like he couldn't get along with Alain Vigneault, who 2 months later was out of a job.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy to think like, oh yeah, choose the coach. That'll probably work. All right. We have, it's our pal Tony Escargot. Is it a bird? Is it a plane? Perhaps God. No, it's Escargot. I love it. Chuck Bill, Rick Tocchet Hockey put Tony to sleep tonight. Rick Tocchet is a demon and needs to be banished. Be gone, demon. Be gone.
This was not a sleep-worthy game, though. This was a wild game. The first period was off.
The second half of this game was like a college overtime game, just like back and forth nonsense. There not as many goals, but just stupid stuff happening at both ends of the ice. Basically for 30, 35 minutes.
As I said, the Flyers are making a lot of dumb mistakes, and I think that colored people's view of the game. But when you're a fan, you're really only paying attention to your team.
Yeah.
Whereas I bet if you got a random Carolina fan and asked what were your thoughts, and they could be like, we were so bad. We made so many mistakes. Both teams were making so many mistakes because they were both exhausted, it seemed like.
All right, and Sam Rogers comes back to close it out.
Clarifying that he meant Michkov.
Yeah, there was a point years ago where
same
the league...
thing about Ghost.
Okay, yeah, okay.
He was just clarifying that he meant Michkov, which we already figured that's what he meant.
All right, yeah, that's...
Thank you, Sam Rogers.
Thank you. Appreciate it, Sam. And that is all the time we have for you on PHLY Flyers postgame tonight. Thank you all for listening. Thanks for hanging out. If you haven't already, got to hit that subscribe button. Follow us right here on YouTube. Follow the Twitter at PHLY_Flyers and follow the podcast. Just search PHLY Flyers. We are off tomorrow, but there's going to be a little bonus show about the Quinn Hughes trade, so make sure you tune in for that. Till then, I am Bill Matz. That is Charlie O'Connor. Thank you, Brenna. Be excellent to each other.
We all silly like the mayor.